This is a story titled Untouchable by Ruskin Bond, collected short stories. Collected short stories by Ruskin Bond. And it opens with the story titled Untouchable. It goes like this. The sweeper boy splashed water over the kuss matting that hung over the doorway, and for a while the air was cooled. Does anyone here know what is a kuss matting? Kuss or couscous is a name of a type of grass vegetation which grows anywhere and all, and once you spray water on it and there's a breeze, it gives such a beautiful, enchanting fragrance all over the place. So there is practice in India of gathering this kuch and this grass. Even when it dries, it is fragrant. When it is fresh, it is fragrant. So the village people, they cultivate it and they harvest it, and they make with the help of bamboo or reed or other wooden slats. They make frames, and in the frames they stuff this kuss grass, and that is sold as a product in the rural markets. So this is a sort of a window curtain or a blind, and it is hung up at the open window, and then they spray water on it. So when the wind blows outside the house, much of the wind also beats on the kuss matting covering the window, and so the room gets filled with fragrant air. So this is a nice way, and it is cool. Nice way of air conditioning and perfuming the house. So we start with that. Sorry, I dropped the book. Oh, sir. I hope I don't spoil the book. See that this book is very big and heavy. Yeah, this is the very first story, Untouchable. The sweeper boy splashed water over the kuss matting that hung in the doorway, and for a while the air was cooled. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring out of the open window, brooding upon the dusty road, shimmering in the noonday heat. A car passed, and the dust rose in billowing clouds. Across the road lived the people who were supposed to look after me while my father lay in hospital with malaria. I was supposed to stay with them, sleep with them, but except for meals, I kept away. I did not like them, and they did not like me. For a week, longer probably, I was going to live alone in the red brick bungalow on the outskirts of the town, on the fringe of the jungle. At night, the sweeper boy would keep guard, sleeping in the kitchen. Apart from him, I had no company, only the neighbors' children, and I did not like them, and they did not like me. Their mother said, "Don't play with the sweeper boy. He is unclean. Don't touch him. Remember, he is a servant. You must come and play with my boys." Well, I did not intend playing with the sweeper boy, but neither did I intend playing with her children. I was going to sit on my bed all week and wait for my father to come home. Sweeper boy, all day he pattered up and down between the house and the water tank, with the bucket clanging against his knees, back and forth with a wide, friendly smile. I frowned at him. He was about my age, 10. He had short cropped hair, very white teeth, and muddy feet, hands, and face. All he wore was an old pair of khaki shorts, and the rest of his body was bare, burnt a deep brown. At every trip to the water tank, he bathed and returned dripping and glistening from head to toe. I dripped with sweat. It was supposedly below my station to bathe at the tank, where the gardener, water carrier, cooks, ayahs, sweepers, and their children all collected. I was the son of a sahib, and convention ruled that I did not play with servant children. But I was just as determined not to play with the other sahib's children, for I did not like them and they did not like me. I watched the flies buzzing against the window pane, the lizards scuttling across the rafters, and the wind scattering petals of scorched, long dead flowers. The sweeper boy smiled and saluted in play. I avoided his eyes and said, "Go away." He went into the kitchen. I rose and crossed the room and lifted my sun helmet off the hat stand. A centipede ran down the wall across the floor. I screamed and jumped on the bed, shouting for help. The sweeper boy darted in. He saw me on the bed, the centipede on the floor, and picking a large book off the shelf, he slammed it down on the repulsive insect. I remained standing on the bed, trembling with fear and revulsion. He laughed at me, showing his teeth. He laughed at me, showing his teeth, and I blushed and said, "Get out." I could not touch or approach the hat or the hat stand. I sat on the bed and longed for my father to come home. A mosquito passed close by me and sang in my ear. Half-heartedly, I clutched at it and missed, and it disappeared behind the dressing table. That mosquito, I reasoned, gave the malaria to my father, and now it was trying to give it to me. The next door lady walked through the compound and smiled thinly from outside the window. I glared back at her. The sweeper boy passed with the bucket and grinned. I turned away. In the bed at night, with the lights on, I tried reading. But even books could not quell my anxiety. The sweeper boy moved about the house, bolting doors, fastening windows. He asked me if I had any orders. I shook my head. He skipped across the electric switch. He skipped across to the electric switch, turned off the light, and slipped into his quarters. Inside, all was dark. Only one shaft of light squeezed in through a crack in the sweeper boy's door, and then that too went out. I began to wish I had stayed with the neighbors. The darkness worried me, silent and close, silent as if in suspense. Once a bat flew flat against the window, falling to the ground outside. Once an owl hooted, sometimes a dog barked, and I tautened as a jackal howled hideously in the jungle behind the bungalow. But nothing could break the overall stillness, the night's silence. Only a dry puff of wind. It rustled in the trees and put me in mind of a snake slithering over dry leaves and twigs. I remembered a tale I had been told not long ago of a sleeping boy who had been bitten by a cobra. I could not sleep. I longed for my father. The shutters rattled, the doors creaked. It was a night for ghosts. Ghosts! God, why did I have to think of them? My God, there, standing by the bathroom door. My father. My father, dead from the malaria and come to see me. I threw myself at the switch. The room lit up. I sank down on the bed in complete exhaustion, the sweat soaking my nightclothes. It was not my father I had seen, it was his dressing gown, hanging on the bathroom door. It had not been taken with him to the hospital. I turned off the light. The hush outside seemed deeper, nearer. I remembered the centipede, the hat, the bat, the thought of the cobra and the sleeping boy. Pulled the sheet tight over my head. If I could see nothing, well, then nothing could see me. A thunderclap shattered the brooding stillness. A streak of lightning forked across the sky, so close that even through the sheet, I saw a tree and the opposite house silhouetted against the flashing canvas of gold. I dived deeper beneath the bedclothes, gathered the pillow about my ears. But at the next thunderclap, louder this time, louder than I had ever heard, I leapt from my bed. I could not stand it. I fled, blundering into the sweeper boy's room. The boy sat on the bare floor. "What is happening?" he asked. The lightning flashed, and his teeth and eyes flashed with it. Then he was a blur in the darkness. "I'm afraid," I said. I moved towards him, and my hand touched a cold shoulder. "Stay here," he said. "I too am afraid." I sat down, my back against the wall, beside the untouchable, the outcast. And the thunder and lightning ceased, and the rain came down, swishing and drumming on the corrugated roof. "The rainy season has started," observed the sweeper boy, turning to me. His smile played with the darkness, and then he laughed. And I laughed too, but freely, but feebly. But I was happy and safe. The scent of the wet earth blew in through the skylight, and the rain fell harder. So that's the first story. It gives you a little background about the first person telling the story. That is Ruskin Bond. He was an Englishman. His father, an Anglo-Indian. His father was one of the colonizing British, and so being a white man, he was in a different class of society compared to the servant class, who were all brown Indians, and so there were artificial distinctions and divisions between different kinds of people, and that is one of the things being brought out in this very simple and ordinary life narrative of one evening in the life of Ruskin Bond.
I just want to correct you. He was Anglo-Indian.
Okay.
His father was English. His mother was Anglo-Indian. And
Okay.
he considers himself Indian.
Okay. Okay, so he considers himself Indian.
Born and brought up and lived his full life in India.
Okay.
He's still alive.
Oh, I see. Okay, but this is a nice story. I liked it. Yeah.